I know. And Peter, are you there?
Yes, we're just about to go live. 2 seconds. Here we
go. Before you, I need you to. I just rented right now a movie on Amazon Prime. They call Thunder Cloud, the story of Cloud Break and Tavarua. You know, it's an amazing, cool movie, guys. If you want to watch, I mean, you gotta be a surfer.
Pete will love it.
I definitely will. Okay, let me.
Thundercloud.
Thundercloud. So we're recording on here. So we are very lucky tonight and morning for him to have Professor Luis Heredia, who has been over to us before to do seminars, and still one of the favourite seminars that the guys have and they still talk about it. So Luis, thanks so much for jumping on with us today.
I am I miss you guys, man. I'm very happy to be here and share some feelings about this whole crazy situation. This is so like I don't know what to say, guys, because sometimes it's so there's so many feelings that come out. It's funny sometimes, and then it's sad because there is so many people really getting hurt, and you know there is all kinds of things. It's the political side, scientific side, financial side. It's
Luis.
It is a mess. It is a mess that we have to live through and kind of like navigate strong and just try to make sure that we come out of this ready for whatever they throw at us.
Yeah. Luis, when you were in the UK, you know, the passion and the love that you have for your academy, you know, you're so proud of it. That came through so strong. You're closed at the moment, but what are you looking forward to the most when you when you can open those doors again and welcome all of your students back? What's the first thing you're going to do?
You know what, I really I don't know, man. I just kind of like I think prior to this opening, even though I don't know if I should, prior to the opening, we should have a little plan, right? And the plan means I will be allowed to come and hug my students. Can I touch them? Can I, you know, I don't know what the protocol would be, but well, I've been coming to the academy just to check things out. I just like, you know, like I just like did this huge remodel. I extended the academy and boom, this thing just happened. So it is a pretty big place that I invested right now. And then I kind of sometimes I go inside and, you know, just check things out. And little by little, I actually closed the academy in March 15. So we are almost May 15, 3 months. March, April, May. Yeah, 2 months. Wow. And I have they have no idea when we can reopen the academy. However, guys, I think I have to. I think a bunch of my students are getting pretty frustrated. People are getting frustrated, and I think I'm going to start teaching 1 or 2 privates a week, you know. And like I said, depend on the plan. I'm thinking about it. I don't know what you guys thinking, but I have like 2, 3 instructors, official instructors with me, and then we have like 3 or 4 assistant instructors. And I don't know how many students going to come back right away, but I was thinking about assigning 1 instructor with a group of 6 to 10 and stick with that group with the time for the next 2-3 months and see what's, and probably if you can get groups where they're usually already brothers, that they won't feel bad like touching each other and practicing on each other. So it's like I said, we just have to sit down and help each other now. And how can we plan something that we follow the guidelines that they're gonna give to us as much as we can. Not over groups of 20 people, 10. So okay, let's restrain to 10 or less. And the same instructor with the same people for the next 1, 2, 3 months. And you know what? Because if you have a place that you can put 2 to 3 instructors in which a corner of the room, do you like that idea or no?
Yeah. No, it sounds like a good idea. It's not actually something we keep on talking about, loads of different ways of, what's it going to be like when we come back and how can we do it? And that's actually quite a good idea. That's not one that we'd kind of talked about or thought about really. It does sound like one of the more, a more sensible way of doing it, because then, like you say, you've only got one person with that group and kind of, they're sticking with those same training partners.
Right. When you make the selection of the groups, you're already gonna have it would be people that are like, let's say a family of 3 or 4, they already trained. So you put another family with 2 more, and then there he goes. And then maybe there's no family, maybe one guy that'll say, you know what, I have no problem training with Peter for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
And
and then I'll train with Pete. I'll train with Peter. That's fine. I'll volunteer.
What are you guys doing, man? What do you do? How's the mood in the UK right now, in England?
I think, well, I don't know about speak for the other guys, but I think similar to what you were saying, like kind of ups and downs, really. I think we have, like, with everyone, I think everyone's a little bit scared. I think everyone's still, pretty nervous. I think even as things get better and ease off, I think people are still going to be, some people are going to be itching to get out, and other people are going to be scared to come out still, I think. And yeah, us 3 in particular go through, days like you of being positive, and then days where you feel a bit frustrated. And
you're so right, man. I try my hardest. Out of 7, I don't, there's not even more week. There's not even days of the week or the weekends anymore, but pretty much I go to those 3, 4, 5 days very positive, working out and doing my thing, and then I wake up the next day and boom. And if you end up deciding to go watch TV and watch the news, it would not help you at all.
No, stay away from the news. It's a surefire route to depression.
Yeah.
What are you doing for exercise?
So, we've got some crazy challenges going on at the club at the moment. But this month, both Robin and me, we're trying to do 10,000 kettlebell swings in the month of May. So that's quite chunky. But we get
that's quite a big number, man.
Yep.
Kettlebell swings.
My legs are screaming at the moment, and my grip as well. I'm going to let go at some stage, and it's going to go through the wall.
Yeah, man. How's the weather over there? Allow you guys to go out and do a little? Can you go out and ride bike?
Yeah. So we're until I think this weekend they're going to make some changes. So up until this point, we've been allowed out over the last 6 weeks, maybe just once a day for exercise. But this weekend, there's lots of rumours that they're going to lift the restrictions so that you can go out as many times as you like for exercise, but still social distance. You know, no touching. You know, no gyms, nothing like that. So yeah, but otherwise, the guys, you know, Robin and Pete, they're still teaching. You know, on our normal regular class slots, there's body weight exercise classes. There's
Right.
you know, stretching classes. You know, they're teaching the techniques still. Robin's wife, bless her, she's Robin's wife Claire is on the receiving end of all of the instruction at the moment, but she might get her first strike before we're out of lockdown, Luis. So there's positives.
It is possible, all right. Hey, you know what? I was thinking, like, what kind of, like, let's say we're allowed to go back to the gym and train in next week. However, you can limit it, you got to limit contact. What kind of a situations, in order we can train, we can teach them a lot distance. You know, like when, like this, the kick on the knee, the keeping the distance with legs, or, you know, stuff that it's, I've been thinking a lot about what could I teach as a self-defense, or even as, you know, like 20 minutes of standing up in base and kicking. It's, you really don't need to like touch each other that much. You know, if we start working in distance drills, what do you think? Because it's pretty impossible. Jiu-jitsu is so, it's so connected.
Yeah.
You know, the feeling of jiu-jitsu, you gotta have the push and pull a lot.
Yeah. And what makes it real is that you are touching each other all the time and you're in contact all the time, is what makes it so good and makes it real. And then it's really hard, isn't it, that we're then the most affected by this, because what we do is real, and because we have to touch each other all the time, it makes it so much harder.
How we exactly is here, I guess we're considered like to be level 5, level 4, the last of the business to be allowed to open, you know.
Yeah.
I think they're going to start allowing like gyms, like, you know, like 24 fitness gyms and platinum fitness places like that to open with a certain number of people inside. And I guess you gotta have like you gotta have that 6 feet distance too when you're waiting for. So that's a small step.
Did
you
you?
know, because
I was going to say, did you see the videos from Asia? So in South Korea, I think, and maybe one other country, the gyms are starting to open again. But they're training with the face masks. So they're similar to what you were saying, you know, same group. So if you have family members, keep those people trained together. If you travel to the gym together, keep those people training together. Don't switch partners. But they are training with the face masks.
the face mask. I've seen that. I seen a Gracie Academy in I guess in Hong Kong, a place like that. I saw they're opening schools already, and I never knew they were trying to do what we're thinking about it. But yeah, I think this idea, I think I'm going to start to think more in, you know, in this idea of putting this group of people together, 4, 5, 6. How crazy this is, man. How different. Why? I can't explain that to you. It's
We'll be back on the mat soon.
You think so? What about tournaments? All of that, you know, like fights, tournaments. This is all gonna have to be put on hold. These people are gonna get hurt, I guess, right? Promoters and
Yep.
They're in the same categories as us, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
If you run a tournament, and I guess they're not going to allow tournaments with over gatherings of over 100 people for a long time.
Yeah, we're gonna see. It's interesting. Yeah, they're being extra cautious over here. I think a bit, slower to open things than some of the other countries. But yeah, we'll see. Like, I guess, like you were saying, we just try and stay as positive as we can and hope that as soon as we can. And I don't know if you've seen, we were a bit like you. We were thinking that maybe, once we can get back into the venue, maybe then we can do things like the gymnastica stuff and that kind of stuff that's still got the movement and the flow of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Touch anyone and that stuff as well. Maybe that's the first thing that we can do.
For a little bit, we're going to have to switch from self-defense to fitness classes.
Yeah.
Right? Until we get back to the fitness and self-defense. But you're pretty right. I would be so happy if I'm allowed to open the academy and have people doing a lot of jiu-jitsu drills 6 feet apart, like exercise. That's a great idea, Peter. So we just don't need to, like, for a while, like, touch each other. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I actually gonna start doing a little privates. I have to, and I told you, like, in last week, I trained one day with one of my black belts, and then the other day I trained with the other black belt, and so we're kind of like little by little trying to just don't get so defeated by all of this,
Yeah.
Man, if you let it go, it can get pretty depressing, guys.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Let's stay together. Let's stay positive. Cooking is a great way of staying positive. You're going to eat healthy and good. And are you allowed to go to the grocery store and buy whatever you want?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
That's a big plus. Is there plenty of food there still?
Now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
To begin with, there was it was crazy at the start. Everybody was going to the supermarkets and emptying the shelves. So that was a little bit strange for the first few weeks, but everything's back to normal now, really.
Are the toilet papers back on the shelves again?
Yes. Russian toilet paper.
I actually, the reason I said that, because I went to a local little small grocery store here, and I was shopping for some food, and then I see on the corner like this big stack, like a Christmas tree of like toilet paper, and I'm like, wow, toilet paper is actually back on the scene, and kind of crazy, but thank God the grocery stores are open. You can go and get your stuff.
Yeah. So we were chatting a little bit before, obviously we press record and stuff, and we were talking about the cooking, and
the cooking is great, man. The cooking is very inspirational to me, bro. And I'm kind of like I'm actually learned how to. I actually learned how to cook very well living with Rickson. He's a great chef. But the moment that he found out that I was better than him, and he did not want to, the same way, he did not want to cook much and clean and all of that. So I took that responsibility, and I enjoy, and it's like cooking to me. It's like I learned watching, living. I mean, I officially learned how to cook with Rickson, but coming from Brazil, and we had, I growing up with my parents and maids and all of that. I observe a lot of the cooking. We always had home cooking at home, so it is a habit that I kind of try to pass to my kids. it's actually when I'm cooking, so funny. It's not only I cook for the family, not only for me, right? But I see that my kids at young age, they already got that they're interested in cooking. They come and do their whole things, you know. And
it's a life skill, right? It keeps you alive. Being able to make a good meal.
I
keeps you alive.
like to see it passing it on to my kids. And you know, if I could, maybe I'll get into this is the Limon Chef show, cooking show, but not yet, guys. It's just like when it's when I decided to cook something that I think it's easy. I go and I put it in the camera and like, well, I'm gonna share. This is how I feel. Like you know.
Luis,
Yeah.
I normally, like, you see people training nice gi. Oh yeah, maybe I want to buy that gi. I saw you in your Maui Jiu Jitsu apron, and I am so jealous. That is the best piece of merchandise ever.
That was made by my daughter, and
It's the best.
she wanted to give me something for she wanted to give me something for Christmas or birthday last year, and then like she asked me for a patch. I'm like, why do you want a patch? She's like, oh, you'll see. Next thing you know, I got a Maui Jiu Jitsu apron, and
there's a market. Chef it now.
yeah, no, man, you know what? It's so, and the thing, it's not to brag about it, but the good chef doesn't really use you might use a recipe one time, which I never do. I never use any recipe. I just see and I create it and I feel and it's big, because a lot of the recipes, they're not gonna come as healthy as you want it to be, you know. So I pick stuff to eat, and then I think about it. Like today we're gonna eat rice, beans, potatoes, chicken, tofu, whatever, you know. And then I create the dishes in that mold. It's kind of like teaching jiu-jitsu, reading a curriculum. You know, it's hard because I learned how to teach. I learned how to teach jiu-jitsu watching and living, you know. And then one day jiu-jitsu starts to become so big that all these people start to make curriculums. So when you go and you see it, they're all pretty much almost the same, but everybody has one curriculum. I don't know if you can understand what and I don't want to come across of being like,
no,
it's just like it's just like, you know. Don't get me wrong. I have all the curriculums. I have the Rickson Gracie curriculum, the Pedro Sauer curriculum, the Gracie Academy curriculum, the Gracie Humai curriculum. I got everybody's curriculum, and I never made it mine, you know. And probably if one day I decided to create a curriculum, I probably gonna have to. Everything is changing. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of each one of them. You know, the ones that I think it's gonna fit what I want to teach. So same as cooking. It's like I don't have much time to open a recipe book. But if I have to, sometimes I'm just like, well, what did I need? Oh, should I say that? The other day, I tried to remember. Did you guys ever try the Brazilian flan? Flan, which is like condensed milk and blah, blah, blah. It's pretty junky, pretty heavy, but I decided to make a dessert the other day, but instead of using regular condensed milk, I use coconut condensed milk. See, a little bit of cheating in here. And and I had to actually I had to look online for the right recipe. But that's it. Once I learned, once I got it, now don't need it anymore. It's kind of like once you learn once you learn the proper way to teach the armbar, you don't need to keep looking back to the curriculum.
Mhm. I remember you when you were in the UK teaching with us, you said about the curriculums, but you focus on the artistry. You were saying the artistry of jiu-jitsu, and you like being able to create.
Hey, you know what, guys? Don't get me wrong. Again, I cannot come across like oh, Luis doesn't use or doesn't like curriculums. I believe that curriculums are very beneficial when you don't have as much experience. When you want to get something going, want to have something new, if you can use the curriculum. And you know what? And it work in so many ways too, like, you know, teaching the proper way of going from one level to the other. That's so much useful for curriculum. It's just my style.
But
I walk into a beginner's class with 20 people, and it's a beginner's class. You know, sometimes they want to have fun. Sometimes it's a day that I say, you know what, forget the curriculum. Let's, like, everybody inside the guard. And if you only know how to do arm bars and sweep, so let's do only arm bars and sweep and train that a little bit. So it's 40 years doing jiu-jitsu every day. I mean, you know, at one point you gotta, it's so crazy, because at one point, what do? We teach martial arts. So everybody that teaches a martial arts gotta be a martial artist,
Yep.
right? So an artist is usually a person that doesn't copy others. They have their own, right? Their own way of, like, seeing things. So I learned from all these people, which it's like, wow, I couldn't have learned from better people. But they also forced me many times to be myself and be creative. Imagine the days that everybody comes to I'm a brown belt, and I'm teaching at Rickson Gracie Academy, and then we have 30 people that drive all over the world in LA to come and have a class with Rickson, but he's decided to sleep and don't show up because he's training for fight. That's how this whole thing started. Then I'm like, Rickson, I'm Luis Heredia. People come here to see Rickson Gracie. He's like, well, do your best, because I'm tired, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then little by little, I cannot go and tell the students, say, hey guys, you know, Rickson is not coming. At one point, I gotta say, you know, it's me here. You don't want to come, don't come. You want to wait, because I don't know when Rickson is gonna come, right? So at one point, I have to start to be myself and creative. And it's a very big shoes to try to fit, you know, those ones over there, to be Rickson's right-hand man. And the only way I could do that, it's not being tough, because I was not even close to get to be. But the only way I could do it is to be resilient, be very, always ready to train, always ready to teach, always ready to run the exercise. So I did not have, I did not have much time to keep looking in. They never gave me a curriculum, man. The day that, yes.
I was going to say, talking about those days when you were a brown belt, you know, teaching at Rickson's school, it reminds me of a story you told me when you were in the UK, and it's maybe my favorite ever jiu-jitsu story, of when you traveled with Rickson to Japan, and then you ended up teaching in the seminar after the fight, and then when the people wanted to roll, after. Do you remember? You remember telling me that story about the?
Of course,
Would
that
you,
was
would
like,
you mind? Because it is such gold. It is just an amazing story. Would you mind telling the listeners today about that time? Because I find it
well,
fascinating.
that story was great because that was actually my first time in Japan, and then only when I got to Japan I saw how huge Rickson Gracie was in Japan, the dimensions of his character, of his demeanor, of his fighter. It's like people loved him over there, right? So until the seminar, I just saw this fun, cool part, going with Rickson everywhere and being treated like a king and blah blah blah, the graces and this and that. And then he got in a fight, and then he had his fight, and the day after the fight, which we're all tired, pretty much training the whole week, kind of like on that vibe for his fight. And the day after his fight, there was a seminar set. And he's like, "Hey guys, we gotta go to the seminar. This is so fun." And I even told you this part because we left the hotel around 8 o'clock in the morning and travel a couple hours in the bus. The whole group were in a big bus. Rickson, me, and probably another 6, 7 students. I mean, another 10, 15, 20 students. However, only 6 or 7 capable of like helping. If we got something to happen, just 5 or 6 guys. And 8 in the morning, man. And you know what? If you've ever been to Japan, it is not an easy place to read things. Very hard. And also, it's not their culture is so different than ours that I could not find anything interesting really to eat. And you know that knowing that how I am with food, it was like I was having a hard time to sleep and eat, right? Throughout the whole trip. And then I remember in the morning we go into this place and everybody's complaining to Rickson that we're hungry, right? Like everybody's hungry. Man, we're all hungry. We gotta go before we go do the seminar. We gotta eat something. So he's kind of like got so fed up that we asked him to eat that he stopped on his first Japanese McDonald's there was, right? And then like, whoa, McDonald's, like, thank God, McDonald's. I'll eat anything right now. And then actually, nothing was written in English, right? It's all in Japanese and with the little design of, the little picture of like whatever was the burgers.
Mhm.
So I see this burger and I'm like, man, this must be the most delicious burger ever right now. So I ordered a couple of them. Well, they were rice patties, right? With like no burger inside. It's like the weirdest thing. It's like I cannot even describe how crazy that was. So, anyways, I did end up not eating that stuff, and then we reached to the venue where the seminar was going to happen, and as we walk inside, I've never seen this many people before in my life. 400 people, guys. There was never a seminar. I always see seminar with 20, 30, 40, 60. And if Hicks and Pedro Sauer there, maybe in 100, right? But this time was 400. I look at Hickson, and then we did the seminar, all good. And I kind of knowing him, right? And I'm already like tired, all stressed out. Right on the end of the seminar, he's like, "Okay, guys," like an hour before the seminar, he's got, "Okay, guys, we're here to like train with you guys. Whoever wants to train, we're here to roll with you guys for an hour. And now I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm hungry, crazy. Like, he's like, and then out of the 7 guys, at least 2, 3 kind of panic, and it's like, man, I cannot do it. I'm like, now I see only 5. And luckily, out of this 400 people, actually 200 stayed back and didn't want to train, but the other 200, including Rumina Sato, all those kind of like Shoto fight guys, they all want to try jiu-jitsu, Shoto fight, judo players, a lot of like Daniel Santo, how would Jun Kudo people, they all there. Well, we have somehow they had to split this 200 into 5 people. So Rickson started, he already cleaned up 30, 40 guys straight up. And then it was Hoyler. He cleaned up another 20, 30 guys. And then it was my turn. And I finished like 15 guys, I would say, in 10 minutes, something like that. And the funny thing about that, I did twice. I did one time 15, and then I finished all of mine. 1 purple belt, it went with 4 or 5 guys, but one of those Shoto fight guys finished him, the purple belt, man, which is a black belt today. Fernando, we're never going to forget that. And things got a little bit weird after he tapped, because Hoyler stepped out again. And then I went to another round of 10 people, straight up, make everybody tap. But my first guys, the 15 that I made tap right away, the only reason I done that, that's the funniest thing, because I've never been so, I was so nervous. I was so nervous, tired, and hungry, that I thought, like, you know what? I don't want to fool around, I just like, you touch me, I'll finish. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. I just tried to get out of that as fast as possible, man, and see if I could find a real McDonald after that, which we never did. End up finding a pasta, Italian pasta, Japanese place that was like horrible too. You know why? Because it's allowed to smoke cigarettes inside restaurants in Japan, and everybody does it. So you're hungry, and then you go eat something that are like everybody smoking cigarette at the same time as you eat. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unless you go for a very, very like expensive places, which those are the ones that Rickson was going, right? They're being taken by all, and unless you go to places where there is design sections, smoking sections, and no smoking sections. But usually, like, if you're on the hurry run, everywhere you go in Japan, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna walk in, and it's gonna have like hard to figure out what to eat. Plus, they smoke. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting days, man. Another phases, right?
Yeah.
I love that story, though. Thank you for sharing that story again.
That story is cool because once you turn in the automatic pilot, you trust jiu-jitsu so much, man. I had some pretty tough matches those 15, but I wasn't fully, I wasn't like playing like you normally would do in a seminar. Go play, train a little bit, let guys go on top, escape. Especially over there, I never knew if there were white belt or black belt. You shake hands, man. You're gonna tap fast, cause you know, it was pretty uncomfortable, to be honest.
Is that one of your top tips for today then, Luis? Is train hungry, right?
I wish. I don't think that's gonna be. It's gonna be my case right now because
He's got the beans on.
I got the beans on, man. Today is gonna be. Today it's gonna be. Actually, I'm gonna save the beans. Actually, I'm gonna save the beans for maybe tomorrow because I have some crispy chicken. Yesterday I did some crispy breaded chicken with tomato sauce on top and some homemade pasta. I have some leftovers still, so I'm hungry, man. Let's not get there. I see. What time it is for you guys now?
9:10 in the evening. It's not too late.
What are you gonna do the rest of your evening?
How much?
Not much.
So I'm finished eating for the day. I'm going to go back and finish off with another 100 kettlebell swings to try and get to that 10,000 total. But I've got yeah, just relax.
How you tracking down how many? How do you track down how many kettlebells you do?
Just old school, pen and paper. So every line on the paper is 25 swings, and I just keep going until I get there.
How heavy are those kettlebells?
I was going to say to you, Luis, one of the things that's come through in all of our our podcasts that we've done so far with the people that we've been lucky to talk to, we always end up talking about concepts. One of the things since you were in the UK that keeps coming up over and over again, and we spot it in different places, is about if you want to control the body, you said control the head and the hips. And that's so easy to grasp for people, and white belts to the blue belts, purple belts, that everybody loves that simple concepts.
Yeah, it took me quite.
While we can't teach like physically, have you got any more gems that you can give away today to kind of keep people hungry and motivated for training?
The more this is gonna happen to you guys pretty soon, the more you do something that you really love, like in this case, it's jiu-jitsu, you're gonna start to understand the concepts, meaning for so long I was trying to like pass people guards and was so impressed by like the size of their legs and the weight of their legs and how well some of them, how flexible and how mobile some people really are. And I start to realize that, I start to think and realize there wasn't, because their freedom wasn't because of their legs, it's because of the hips that keep moving, So I always like to pass guard more. I always been more interested in passing guard than defending the guard. Being small, you don't, at one point, if the guy's so strong and relentless, they going to pass and you're going to be on the bottom in a bad position, and that's not fun. On the top, if you just have an understanding of of weight distribution, and it's way easier to do because you got gravity in your favor and so many other things. So this understanding, more and more I start to work in this understanding of passing the guard through the control of the hips. And then if I can restrain the hip to control, the next thing, it's like the upper body is still free. So how can I like try to restrain body position with the concept of controlling hip and head, because usually you come from that kind of sequence. You started from the legs. The first thing you reach, it's going to be the closest thing, it's going to be the hips. And then if you restrain that well, you control the head, you know, and then there is so much that comes with that, because when you control the head, it's like, you know, like sometimes you grab the lapel, you grab the collar, but you grab the collar by the collar, you grab the collar by the collar, the collarbone, and then they still can move the head out, you know. So usually I try to control, instead of controlling the lapel, you gotta try to control behind the neck. You know, that way you get the head and the hip. It's such a cool concept, you know. And the other reason why I like that concept, because that's how you defend, that's how you're going to defend most of your triangles and arm bars, if you restrain their arm and their hips. That's why I don't know if we went through that. That's why one of my favorite ways of passing the guard, controlling the hips, it's throwing my both hands, my arm straight out between the legs. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I straight out there, and then grab the hip, and then from there, usually guys, good guys, you're gonna come under, they're gonna hook. Do you know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna get trapped over there. So it's pretty easy. As you put the hand, close the knees, man. Maybe next time, you know, let's do a podcast soon. I'm gonna go to the academy, and I'm gonna get one of my instructors, and then we go over this concept of like only control hip and head. Let's go over that. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Because I you know what, I like to reinforce that.
Yeah.
Right before this whole thing happening, I was back on the competition, right, man. I was signed up to go to. They canceled 2 weeks before the Pan Americans, but 2 weeks prior to before that, I went to Portland, and I did and I fought on a division that I'm not supposed to fight, because there was nobody in my division, and it was pretty fun. So there was another mode that I got into before the competition that I'm actually carrying on with me for after this whole thing is over. I want to go back to compete. I want to fight. I want to fight again. I want to compete again. So I'm going to reinforce a lot of this concept. Actually, the guy, I fought two guys. I fought. So funny how deceiving jiu-jitsu is. Because like 2 months ago, I went to Portland, and I signed up and to fight in Master 4 instead of 6. There was nobody in 6 or 5. Actually, it was 1 on 5, but it was too light. I could not make that weight. It's too light. And then I signed up to fight Master 4 in a division above mine. Guys were kind of a little bit. One of the guys that I fought was my student, from white to blue, Pete Pistol. Very, very like a very good athlete. He's those guys that do bicycle, but like a bunch of They do. Yeah, he races bike racer. Anyways, he's very tall, and he's very tall. And then the other guy on the division, super short and stocky. So I said, man, I'm gonna do well. I thought I was going to do well with the short one, stocky, and I thought I was going to have a hard time with the tall, lengthy one, way taller than me. And I'm like, right. So my first fight was with the tall guy, and I thought I was going to have a hard time, but I knew he was going to pull guard right away. So I did exactly what I just told you. I drove my both hands right away under his leg, and he kept trying to sweep. So I control his hip, and I almost got swept. Boom. And then I ended up clearing one side, got to the half guard, and got to a half guard, got advantage in there. He put back in the guard, but I kept doing that same concept. Then I went to do the final with this short guy that was kind of like he actually finished the tall guy. He got my attention right there. I'm like, wow, it's not that easy as I thought. So the guy, I don't know what he had, but he was so crazy. He came like full mode, full speed, and end up taking me, end up getting in a takedown, and then we stay put inside the guard. You stay on that kind of game, and then the fight was over. But I want to go back and fight those two guys again, you know. But the point here is. The point here is how sometimes, you know, you got a plan. Jiu-jitsu is so deceiving that the tall guy that used to be I thought it was going to give me a hard time. It's like I kind of like right away as he pulled, I never let him close the guard. Do you understand? That's why when you put the hands, they don't close the guard.
Yeah.
So I put my knee, and then I come with the hands inside, and then I boom, and then from there I took my time. He kept pushing me away, bringing the leg over, and I clear one side. So I get to the half guard, and that's it, man. You know, so the concept really works. I could not do the concept with the other guy because he took me down and I end up on the bottom, right? He never passed, but that's a great way. I'm gonna keep enforcing that. I'm gonna keep studying that more and more. All you gotta do. We are in the business of restraining people. We can only actually finish somebody after we physically restrain them, you know, or they make a mistake. You know, you can finish pretty fast if they don't know, but when they know and they want to keep escaping, if you don't control the hip, I had, you know, this is experience, guys. I had so much hard time passing guys before I understand that. Now that I understand that, not only I don't have much hard time passing, as I don't have as much hard time to defend. Because if you restrain them to move their hips, there will be no arm locks, there will be no triangle, you know.
So the competing, Luis, is that, have you always competed, or is it something that you're going back to after some time off?
I always compete, but I took some time off for so many like personal reasons, you know. But life is, I'm just like, I don't know how to explain, but I'm kind of going back to I'm being pretty nostalgic nowadays. I'm going back to my long hair dude from Copacabana, from, you know, I'm kind of like getting stronger. I'm kind of like going back on time. I'm really enjoying jiu-jitsu as to me, it's a lifestyle. I always compete, you know. I never been, I like being a Gracie student. You always in that competition mode, pretty much, either in a tournament or in academy, you know. So I'm not a very competitive person,
Mhm.
but I like to compete. I like to put myself in that position. That means if I lose, I don't get so upset. If I win, I don't get so excited. It's just like, okay, that's what I want to do. You know, if you're too competitive and you lose, you sometimes you kill yourself. And if you win, it's like the end of the world because it's either the end of the world because you lose or because you win. I think, you know, I think there is that middle term that you learn no matter what. You train for the best, but are you guys do you guys watch do you like basketball?
Yeah.
Professional basketball? No. You
Pete,
know,
Pete,
it's not really
Pete
big
did.
in there, right?
Yeah,
Pete does.
I used to play quite a lot when I was younger, when I was at university and stuff. That was my main sport.
Pretty fun, crazy, awesome sport. My favorite sport to watch
Yeah.
in a professional level, right? The reason I said that, are you watching that Michael Jordan documentary, The Bulls, The Last Dance?
Yeah, no, I saw it on there the other day. I'm kind of saving it in case I run out of things to do at home.
Yeah, save because it's a pretty cool documentary if you like basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to go back to competition. I'm ready. I would say that I'm ready to compete tomorrow,
So this is
but I can't, you know.
yeah. It'll be back. It'll be back sometime. We'll get it. I think
I like guys from my generation when they compete because, you know, it brings me like there's so many people from my generation that are like not only quit competition but also quit jiu-jitsu all around. And you know, and like going back to competition, like I said, it's kind of like going back on time, reinventing myself, finding that joy of doing jiu-jitsu again. You know, I never want to do jiu-jitsu just to teach jiu-jitsu. I end up loving teaching jiu-jitsu. I don't have nothing that I like more to do, but the lifestyle of jiu-jitsu that, you know, that I learned, like eating well, exercising well, helping people as much as you can, being physically adapted for pretty much, you know, like jiu-jitsu help us. You know what one thing that I thought yesterday, guys, jiu-jitsu is teach us how to be adapt. We have to adapt to the situation. The strongest, according to Darwin, right? The strongest is the one that easiest adapt to the situations around him. Because sometimes you're so super strong, but if you don't adapt, you're gonna die. So, you know, jiu-jitsu, I think jiu-jitsu, you know, being on the bottom, being on top, understanding this, understanding that, it's like it's not gonna be so hard for us to adapt to whatever protocol they want us to adapt.
Yeah.
I just hope that they allowed us because there is no way to really teach jiu-jitsu without feeling that push and pull, without trying to understand the hip control and the head control. How can I explain that to you? See, that's why I'm leaving like the next time I want to go to the academy, everybody on the kimono with somebody, and then little, because hard to understand this concept without, practicing.
Yeah.
I guess something becomes a concept once once that same thing, it was practiced thousands of times.
And I guess, would you say, like with the concept as well, you're saying about things being adaptable and us being adaptable with jiu-jitsu, would you say like that concept is so good because it is adaptable to loads of different situations, whether it's like side control or whether it's passing the guard, or it's such a good concept, I think, and worked for us so well when you explained it because it works everywhere.
Yeah. And yes, it's like man, it goes like when you really think about it, the concept is control, and to have this self over, it's like it's a good way to train to learn self-control when you really think about it, because you gotta, when for instance, when I go into the passing guard mode, I have only one goal: not to pass the guard, to control. If I control what I want to control, then I have a chance of passing the guard. Do you know what I'm saying? And then if I get where the first where I want to get, and then if I don't control the head, I don't have what I really want. It's kind of like, I've been watching, like I told you, I my whole life I did, but lately more than ever, I've been watching a lot of National Geographic stuff like that, and then you see exactly in this control when the predator wants to, they're starving, they got to feed their puppies and stuff. When they want to control the prey, they stalk, control, right? Hi, David. They stalk, control, then kill, then eat. Most of the predators, right? Except like the crazy wild dogs, because they don't have the power to kill, so they'll like jump 130 of them in one, and they'll eat that thing until that thing stop breathing. But usually in the other world, it's like this: stalk, control, plan, control, kill, and then finish, and then you properly eat, Guys, I have a meeting right now here. I don't know if you, I told, that's why I want to start it a little bit early, but
Luis,
I was such a pleasure to see you guys. Do you want to set something up? Let's talk about this hip control next week. Do you want to? I really want to. I'm going to go to the academy, put the kimono, and let's figure all of these ways of how do I envision that. Do you want to do that?
That would be fantastic. Yeah, we'd love to.
Let's set up for next week, same time, Friday.
Yeah,
if you want.
Yeah, Yeah.
There'll be plenty time. 1 week from now, if you guys want to be in kimono, we'll have somebody, and then we'll kind of like go through some small little stuff.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Please.
Sounds like an
Let's-
opportunity that's impossible to refuse, Luis. That would be amazing.
Okay, let's do it next Friday at the same time, 10 o'clock. I'll be at the academy.
I'm going to keep my little boy up really late so that I can practice on him. He'll be over the moon.
You tell him I say hello. You tell everybody I say hello, guys. You take care of yourselves.
Same
Also,
to you and your family.
let
Luis.
me know. Let me know next week. Everybody can come up with a meal. Let me see what kind of meal you wanted me to go over with you.
Okay.
Something good.
Sounds perfect.
Sounds good. Thank you so
Also-
much for your time, Luis.
You
Real
too, man.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Take care of yourself.
Aloha,
Stay
guys.
positive.
Bye-bye.
And Luis, believe in jiu-jitsu. The amount of times in the last few weeks that I've said to myself, believe in jiu-jitsu, and I always think of you when I say that.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself and believe in jiu-jitsu. Bye, guys. Much
ya.
love
Take
to
care.
you, and you be safe. I'll see you soon, okay?
See you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
And